He said, "What a horrible mascot."
They gave you those saltwater and vinegar ones, and then nobody's gonna eat them.
Sure. At Lyman's press conference yesterday, somebody asked me what his favorite Pop-Tart was. What do you think?
Vinegar, salt water, no. Okay, we're ready. Welcome to the, we're live now, so. Welcome to the Raleigh County Commission meeting of December 4th. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, do we have any public comment this morning? Okay, seeing none, we'll go to commission comments. Commissioner McKinley?
All right, well, much. I missed the game, the men's game Saturday, because I had the wrong time down on my calendar.
Oh, no.
Some friend of mine sent a text and I responded. He goes, "It's right away." He said, "Well, aren't you at the game?" Oh, no, the game doesn't start until 7. He goes, "It's 3 minutes left of the game." I went,
Oh,
Oh, no.
That's a good one.
well, like I said, I didn't get to watch the overtime, which that was the.
Yeah.
He's and Tang is now 8-0 in overtime games
Mhm.
here. He knows how to.
She just jinxed him, you realize
Yeah.
that.
Well, it's been all over there about that, but- And then spent time working over the weekend on department head evaluations. And then strange news of the week. AARP is a sponsor for Rolling Stones concert, and they're having special access for tickets.
Oh, good. That's good news.
It's about time we start thinking about what type of world we're gonna leave Keith Richards.
I love
I
Stones.
couldn't believe what I was at.
That's funny.
Well, they're what in their 80s?
Some of them are in their late 70s, and I think Nick is 81. I saw, and the others are 79 and 78 or something.
Amazing. Anything else?
Need a lot more wheelchair access for that concert.
I'd like to see them do some of that in a wheelchair.
Yeah. That's the like that.
They do one at the Stormont Vale Event Center to be
Yeah.
perfect, right up the ground.
The closest one here, that's Denver and Chicago.
Sounds about right.
Okay. Okay. Anything else?
That's enough.
Mr. Ford.
I ain't topping that this morning. Thursday evening, I was on hand to see the annual tree lighting ceremony up on Fort Riley at the parade field. Second year I've attended that event. It was a little chilly. A
Yeah.
little more chilly than I anticipated up there. When you get up on Fort Riley or up on the hill, it's always a little chilly with the wind, but really good crowd. And the big man himself showed up in a fire engine, which is always exciting. Group of elementary kids sang a couple of choir songs, including Silent Night and Jingle Bells. Did that very, very well. There were some light refreshments, cookies too, and did a wonderful job decorating that tree if you get a chance to see it during the holiday season. Friday morning had a doctor's appointment. I'm just gonna plead the fifth. I don't know. We're kind of arguing back and forth. That's all I can say. Gonna wait to get past the holidays and beginning of the year and really rethink some things just in general. I'll leave it at that. Friday afternoon, I did come down to watch the Spirit of the Holidays parade. I didn't get done with the doctor's appointment early enough to be part of the parade, so that's why I got here literally right at 5:30, right as it was moving forward here. But I did get some pictures and a lot bigger than I thought. I hadn't seen it in a couple of years, so I guess it's grown, which is a good thing. A lot of cool entries. Some of them went. I don't want to say overboard, but really, really did it on the lights. It was really good. The weather held out, I guess. Got most of the weather during the day, so that held out. It was nice enough to get the parade in. So, what else did I put on there? Yeah, like I said, several entries were very creative and innovative, and they really got into the spirit. So, and the horses that they had that came through there, and the white Clydesdales or whatever they were just beautiful. Took several pictures of them. So, can't go wrong with horses, I guess. Also on Friday evening, I attended the Commanding General's holiday party up on Fort Riley after that. Trying to get out of town after the parade was interesting.
I bet.
I don't know why that has to be what that has to be, but whatever, I guess. I felt like basically from about Bluemont South, everything was blocked off. I don't know why.
It is horrible.
It's not that big of a deal. I mean, I get the downtown sector and the Aggieville sector, but everything else was closed off too. So I had to go all the way up, all the way back around. Just unnecessary. Anyway, but we made it. There was a lot of people there. It was good to catch up. Something that they plan on doing annually once again. They kind of had to put the cuffs on that for a few years because of COVID, and decided to do it last year because all the command staff, of course, was over in Eastern Europe. So that did kind of put a fork in that one. So something they plan on trying to do each and every year moving forward. There was a lot of Fort Riley staff, civilians, local and regional community leaders that were there. So a good group of people to catch up on, just talk about objectives for the 2024 year. And it was really fun, productive evening. Took a big everybody photo. I don't know how they did that because there was a lot of us there, but somehow they got us all in and do a photo. So that was good too. Sunday afternoon, I guess yesterday afternoon, I attended the annual Farm Bureau meeting that was held here in Manhattan at the Hilton Garden Inn. Was invited to sit on a panel discussion with Engaged Kansas. It's a nonpartisan organization sponsored by the Farm Bureau to provide resources and support to individuals that are considering public service. The panel was a question and answer session on the role as a county commissioner and what we do and my perspective of experiences while serving in the role. Panel was very well attended. The room was full. And we had some really good questions from the audience, which included current and former county commissioners, as well as some state legislators too. So questions were really good. There was another gentleman from Harper County, and Chip Westfall came up and joined us for that too. Yeah, he gave a kind of a little overview of the position and his work with KAC, and he sat on the panel too. So, and Craig said hi. I bumped into him on Friday too, so just wanted to throw that out there. And then lastly, as we were talking, K-State pulled out another squeaker in basketball. Girls team's looking good. Won pretty handily, but I guess their opponent wasn't real good. That was Wisconsin, so it was Power 5, wasn't it? Or am I thinking somebody else?
Wisconsin was me earlier in the week last night.
They play.
Who was they play on Friday?
Well, I know Sundell got over the 1,000-point mark, so moving up the ladder there in terms of records for the girls team. And of course, the football team is headed to Orlando to play in the bowl, formerly known as the Blockbuster Bowl. Everybody keeps saying it's the Citrus Bowl. It's not. 2 different bowl games. It's gone through a whole plethora of sponsorship, as you can tell, and now it's the Pop-Tarts Bowl. Pop-Tarts. I just can't wait to see all the memes.
Let's bring some to the meeting on the 28th.
Okay.
There you go. Good idea. Dress up in Pop-Tarts, our favorite
No,
Pop-Tarts.
I won't eat a Pop-Tart. I'm not dressing up like a Pop-Tart.
We gotta get into this. We gotta do this for our team. They're playing NC State. They're pretty good.
2 votes could get Evan to dress up as a Pop-Tart.
I make a motion. You don't have to put a full one on. You can just like hold it there, I mean.
Well, I kind of like the 2-sided,
Yeah.
with the straps in between.
Maybe like the hanging chat.
Yeah, the
How
box.
many
Use a
years?
cardboard box.
The costume that was popular for a few years there after 2000.
Let's not talk about that.
We got a ways to go till March yet, so
Really?
I don't know, John, since you suggested it, maybe you have to dress.
Yeah, I like it.
I'm gonna dress up with salt water.
So,
I'm gonna find one that's really, really bad and really, really creative and do it. Yeah. Gonna do that.
okay, can't wait for that.
That's all I've got. I wouldn't hold your breath on that though.
Okay, well, let's see, Thursday afternoon, after our meeting, I had a doctor's appointment for another sciatic nerve shot. I have 1 more to go, so be glad when that's over. Spent the rest of the evening at home, did some Christmas decorating and planning and cooking Friday morning, caught up with some errands, came into the office for some time. Also met with Shelley Woodard on the Keys project. I got caught up in, went over to the mall and they were shutting the mall off like at 2:30. You know, you couldn't get around to get on the streets and it was just a mess because of just all the traffic. So, but that evening, I came back and rode in the Raleigh County fire truck. It was number 112. In the annual holiday parade. Lots of people in the parade. I saw Elizabeth and a bunch of people I saw, and it was long, a lot of participants. So that was good.
About 45 minutes.
Yeah, about that. And it was still, when we got to the city park and we're coming back to get our cars, the parade was still going on.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But we had a lot of fun with the sirens and the horns and everything. Kids were loving it, so it was really fun. Let's see, Saturday morning I went over and helped decorate the church for Christmas, met some constituents, had some lunch with friends and did some more house cleaning. I think I'm done with that for a while. Sunday afternoon I attended the Stan Kenton Christmas concert featuring the Thundering Cats Big Band. It was sponsored by the Manhattan Ministerial Association, and donated funds are going to the Manhattan Free Clinic and Shepherd's Crossing. It was held at my church, and it was a full house. I haven't seen the church that full forever. And sing-alongs and great music, great jazz music, and it was a good event. So. And got, really, really spirited Christmas. So that was great. That evening, yesterday evening, I reviewed all the documents for today's meeting and department head evaluations. And so that's all I have.
Ready for business, commissioners? First item we have is a state travel request for Elizabeth Ward and Michelle Reed to attend the SHARM 2024 National Convention. Total amount for both is $6,453.50.
Who's handling the human resources duties while you guys are gone?
Generally, we still handle them, but I've got department heads call me regularly while I'm there, but. So, payroll is obviously the finance, under finance manager. And then generally everything else, we have cross-trained, the day-to-day cross-training with Michelle Adams and Brittany.
Okay.
And we also have our HR assistant who we generally will have come in and work the whole day.
Oh.
Do we have a motion to approve this?
Go ahead and approve the out-of-state travel request for the SHRM 24 National Convention for a Human Resource Director and Manager.
Second.
So moved and seconded to approve the out-of-state travel request for the SHRM National Convention for Human Resources Director and Manager. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, commissioners. Chair, please sign.
Thank you, Commissioner.
You. Next, I need a motion to approve change order number 1 with Reese Construction Company, Inc. for the Union Road Culvert Replacement Project, in the amount of deduct of $1,171.03, adjusted contract price total of $198,619.13.
Trying to bring us good news once again, huh? Starting this streak over again? All right, keep it up. Keep it up. Go ahead and move the change order in the amount of as a positive $1,171.03. Is it negative?
Yeah.
Second.
So moved and seconded to approve the change order for the Union Culvert Replacement Project in the amount of negative amount of $1,171.03. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair, please sign. Next, Commissioner, Raleigh County Personnel Action Forms, Linda King, Tax Supervisor, Treasurer's Office, Separation of Service. Chris Wilinski, new hire as needed volunteer firefighter stipend. And then Bayla Perez, intern volunteer health department.
Any questions? Yeah, you see, Linda retired.
Yeah.
So, 20 years.
What's that?
Long time, 8 years.
Mm-hmm. When she started.
That's good. Well,
Mhm.
how long
That's
have you
about how long
been
you've been
here?
here, right?
32.
You've been here 32 years? More than the age of your kids, huh?
Hmm?
Your kids are younger than that.
Mhm. My oldest is 29.
I'm gonna stay where I was at 20 years ago.
I don't want to think about it.
Any changes to the minutes, commissioners?
Thing that jumped out at me. Motion. Approve the minutes as written from the November 30th meeting of the Riley County Commission.
Second.
So moved and seconded to approve the minutes as written from the November 30th meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The tentative agendas, look, commissioners, of course, no meeting Thursday since we'll, majority of us will be at KAC.
On the 14th, as part of our legislative conference, just giving everybody a heads up. It's like we may be joined by a state legislator from Leavenworth County
Really?
who wants to discuss the veterans property tax bill. I figure since we're discussing legislative items and that fits his time frame, that would be probably the best opportunity to do so. So he's agreed to probably join us along with Representative Dotson to discuss that. I haven't heard the specifics on it yet, Clancy, so I'll get back with you.
Okay.
For sure on that, but either somewhere during or just thereabouts after, because it's gonna have to be.
It wouldn't be on the agenda. It would be. Would we put him on the agenda or would?
I think we probably discuss it probably after our regular legislative conference. That might be a few minutes extra. That was his time frame, and that's what I saw pop up on there, so I thought it would probably work out better.
So he basically wants to talk to our reps.
He wants to talk to us. He's trying to find
Sponsors.
well, no, the bill itself actually passed last year. But it ended up getting vetoed as part of the whole tax proposal. They put it up there. Right. So this year they're trying to find an amended process that works basically for everybody. And he's trying to get the counties with probably the largest to lose, I guess, on that one, which would be Leavenworth, Riley, and Gary County. So he's trying to get input to figure out how to amend that to make it work. So
Do they have numbers as far as how much that would cost us?
Probably not individual counties, but what it sounds like they're doing is they're going for a property tax abatement at 100%. So you have to prove 100% disability. It has to be verifiable and has to go through the VA and all that, and then your property tax exempt on your house.
If you're a disabled veteran.
Right. 100%. That's what I'm hearing. So I haven't seen a draft of that. I haven't seen a draft of it yet. So I don't know that for sure, but that's what I've heard through the grapevine. Just giving you a heads up on it. So.
Any items for next week's press conference, commissioners? If not, you have Mr. Holman at 9 o'clock.
Maybe this morning they're referring to a bowl game at the President Linton Bowl.
The what?
President Linton, because he came from Manson State.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
what he
right.
asked about.
I forgot about that. Huh, interesting.
Head of the egg.
Just emailed another evaluation. I didn't write it in there, but I'll bring you a printed copy. It's for next Monday.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you on those plans.
Yeah.
Are you-
Prior years, they would stack up the other.
No, I'm gonna have to have somewhere to be
The
on.
way we're doing it this year.
Yeah.
I'll get caught up on that.
And I'll be there intermittently, during the week and stuff, so.
Would Brittany go there too? Or no?
No, she's
No,
not
she
part of
would stay
elections.
that.
Yeah,
It's just elections.
just elections, solely elections.
Well, I didn't know that space looked pretty big for you, so I didn't know.
No, it's the smallest
Is it
office
a
there.
small one?
It's the
Okay.
smallest office there.
I didn't know if you were gonna go up
The
there.
only thing on those plans is it said third floor.
Oh, did it?
It did say
Okay.
third floor on it, and I threw me
Okay.
off because,
No, it's fourth floor.
Okay.
We're not kicking anyone out.
okay. Well, I was looking at it and I go, well, that doesn't even fit the third floor.
Right,
They must have just got
yeah,
that- They must have just got the floor wrong
Uh-huh,
on it.
They did. They did, for sure.
So how many people does that move?
4 full-time.
So it gives you, helps your
Oh,
office.
yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, it gives everyone more elbow room. In certain offices, more privacy.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And that'd be the next step ultimately, if we could do
rework
something
that.
on that back entrance, which would be another
Mhm.
project, but. Gotta get to this step first. I'm hoping, like I said, this week, hopefully we'll hear something from the Secretary of State's
I didn't
office,
know about that.
so. I know we're making them think, that's for sure.
I'll be saying they don't realize what it's gonna cost them.
But they have an opportunity to make a significant improvement for us,
Yeah.
and they know what everyone's getting criticized about, so. It's hard for them to say no, for sure. Not saying we'll get 100%, but I'd like to sure get a big chunk of it.
I came up with a discussion with a certain individual earlier in the week, but I told him you can't have it both ways. You can't complain about election fraud and election security and then not expect everybody to spend money to do something about it.
Exactly.
I said, you gotta have one or the other. You can't have it both ways.
Mhm. Yeah.
Well, I guess I would rather have election security. I said, well, there you go. And that's what we're aiming for.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's the same discussions you have, with people about taxes, and then the next sentence is, God, the roads are in horrible condition, or. How do you think we fix those?
And that came up in discussion yesterday too, during the panel, but that is a problem. Some other areas around.
Sure.
I think for us, we've done a pretty good job of just maintaining. They're not excellent by any standards, but they're not so bad that, we're getting calls every week about specific, non-township roads, I guess, but, safety concerns, obviously, in some places, but just the roads themselves aren't as bad as they could be. I mean, there's some stretches in south central Kansas there where, you almost need a mouth guard to drive on them.
Yeah, some of them have rocks on them, huge rocks.
Some town, they're about like that.
Yeah.
And if we funded our road improvements adequately, road and bridge improvements adequately, including this county with ad valorem taxes, we would have never had the need for the sales tax.
Well, through the NPO, they kind of, well, it's part of that 2040 plan, they go through and they look at kind of a 10-year stepped average of what that looks like for each one of the entities. And for us, just to maintain our transportation infrastructure currently with nothing new, we're still about $1 million in the hole over about $1.1 million in the red over the next 10 years. So.
Yeah, there's none of the local governments here, and I think it's across the state that fund government 100% to what they're willing to cut. Just in a meeting, I told you as city staff on their park stuff, and it's not just parks, but Jason Hildrer said, our CIP list goes from, and the tables were from this long all the way around there. Our CIP list is that long on things that are needed.
City roads are the streets are getting worse and worse. Especially Anderson. Anderson's really bad.
I don't know what they're going to be able to do with that. Trying to get the accesses along that. If you go from Connecticut Avenue there all the way down to, let's say, Denison, just that stretch right there.
They're a huge hole.
I know. I don't know how you widen that. I don't know how you get all the accesses to get that. I mean, you're talking residential, commercial, school, public, private. I mean, holy cow. I mean, and how do you divert traffic there?
Traffic in this town has just gotten.
Well, since Christmas season started, it's just like.
It's been that way it's been that way post COVID. It really has here.
Been bad.
And it's not
This
even.
weekend was really excessive. I just tried to come downtown, I forget it.
I think the first thing we're gonna have to probably do is we're gonna have to relook at how we're doing flows of traffic with traffic lights and at different points.
I think they look at that all the time. I think that's a juggling act they try to figure out all the time, those programmable lights.
I know it's very expensive, but AI has figured out a way to do it in real time where it senses the flow of traffic as it's moving. So
That's one way it's going to get rid of us, a lot of us intentionally running into each other.
Yeah,
well, it's either gonna be that or self-driving cars.
No, chief
No.
engineer at GM just walked out. He says this isn't going anywhere for a while.
I seen that when I was in Vegas
Really?
3 or 4 years ago. That just freaked me out.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
weird.
I just I can't
I
adjust.
still like that I like that commercial with the guy in the pickup with his family and takes his hands off the wheel.
Yeah.
I hate that. I hate
that's
that.
awful.
Like it's some grand idea. Unless you're coming the other way.
Now the projections are we're not going to be all electric as fast as some are thinking they're going to be.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, so they've got.
They're gonna have to make major improvements to the grid to make that work. Well, it's gonna take decades.
One, just the charging systems, the amount of time. I was just talking to someone about how it was actually at the dealership about how long it's because they got a quick charge and a slow charge. I don't have that much extra time to waste to get to point A to point B.
So I don't. Yeah, that's why the state trying to pay to put in charging stations. The state built gas.
Yeah, I know that. I remember your point. That was because that's exactly the same thing that I was thinking.
Well, they're trying right now. They're just trying to follow along the interstate corridors right now. That's probably just to pick up just people driving along the ways.
But still the
There's
thing.
gas stations go along there. Those convenience stores that if you're gonna have to stand there for 30 minutes, there's convenience to it.
I watched one. They've got one outside this marathon station outside of Evansville. I stop at. I've got like it's not like a truck stop, but I mean, it's, they've got a diesel place. So if you got medium sized trucks, maybe not semis, you can do that. Regular gas. I've got now an electric station there and then a car wash. So it's basically all your car need for cars kind of combined there. They have a Tesla set up and we got the regular setup there. And I watched a girl pull in there and I was there probably for a half an hour or so, just stretch my legs, getting gas, using the bathroom, get something to drink, and it's still there. Still there, plugged in. I don't know what you do, playing on her phone or something in the car. That could be rather dangerous while you're hooked up to it. If the battery catches on fire or something while you're in, you haven't got past that.
Yeah, especially since it takes an ocean of water to put that fire out.
Right. I other than the car wash, that was
Drive it in the car wash.
yeah, car wash. It's literally right behind it. Maybe that's an option. But
Well, they try to force feed us that stuff based on the cost of our tax dollars, which is subsidizing to get it going, which is exactly what Greg's saying. If they didn't do that with gasoline, it's going to make it. It's so lucrative, someone in private will pick it up.
Yeah.
So just to add the need of electricity and also the.
Well, what's
Get
the
all
producing
the-
electricity?
Get all the materials. All those elements are hard to find.
Okay, Clement, are you ready?
Good morning, Commissioner. Clancy Holden, Riley County Counselor. And before you, the project list. I will say it's updated in air quotes today because I did not get a chance to update it last week. Tangled up in other matters, but in case you have any questions about anything on there or any other, anything, I'd be glad to answer that. I thought I'd take just a moment to talk about the legislative conference and the agenda for that. As you know, it's December 14th. And that Thursday, and will be from noon until 2 o'clock, as usual. So format very similar to what has worked in the past. It is live only. Of course, there's no virtual component this year. Begin with introductions, then talk about the priorities that Riley County has for the upcoming session, beginning with the nuisance abatement authority statewide, and talking about Senate Bill 52 or the legislative session. Basically, our copy of Senate Bill 52 is what it amounts to, and a discussion by commissioners in the delegation after each one of these issues. Second issue will be missing demand transfers to county statewide, of course, and we'll be talking about that with the most recent update from the League of Kansas Municipalities. That's the exhibit that's referred to. And then Senate concurrent resolution 1610. Now, 1611 is what has been described, but when you go out on the legislative website, it's 1610. So I still have not talked to Tom Bruno about what's going on here. Because I looked, I thought, okay, well, you would think you'd scroll down, you'd eventually find the new number, but I didn't find it. So it could be operator error, but if so, then I'll correct that at the time of the comments. But we've been talking about 1611, 1610 is what's out there.
Okay.
Tom will probably be able to tell me something obvious. I will make an appropriate correction, but it doesn't really matter because the point is whether or not that's a good idea. And Anna, a person, a county appraiser, will be here to kind of walk through that letter. That is one of the exhibits. It's a pretty straightforward explanation of why it doesn't make a lot of sense and why there are some definite detrimental impacts potentially of that. Do you have any issues with that agenda? I've sent it out to the delegation, but of course corrected or I think your idea, Commissioner Ford, having Leavenworth County's representative talk to you afterwards probably makes sense so that our delegation doesn't get confused that this is part of your platform.
Yeah.
And can adjourn the meeting after that would be my suggestion.
I was just wanting to mention that if you had plans after 2 o'clock, stretch them out maybe just a little bit to sneak that in, but we wanted to, they're going to introduce that bill. Something's probably going to pass this year on that, whether we're for it or against it. So at least we have our input of what that, what the potential impact for us could be. And I don't know at 100% disability, we'd have to try to find some of those numbers and then incorporate them back in. I don't think it's probably huge, but there certainly is one. So, but
Yeah. I do have plans after at 3.
I don't expect it to be that long, but
Unless you have anything else, that's all.
And just on this topic, like I say, it's 1610.
Yeah.
It says 3%. Limiting 3%. Something that's.
I don't know. I was baffled when I started looking for the thing because I didn't realize I'm shifting numbers, and maybe there hasn't. Maybe there's something about. I don't know. I'm going to find out. But that's what's on the legislative website.
the both tax committees have met in the interim. So maybe they.
You wouldn't think it would go in reverse numbers though. You would think it would be 1612. That's what's really so. Like I said, there's probably some simple answer I'm just missing. And if the point is, we'll have the right one in front of us. And they certainly will know.
Oh, wait, it's a concurring resolution, isn't it?
It is.
They can move numbers on concurrent resolutions. They're not set in stone.
Okay. Well, I never felt the numbers are set in stone, but I wasn't used to them just suddenly changing. Before
Well,
that,
that I don't know.
but again, as you said, if they met, and it's possible,
Yeah.
but I don't know why they would go back to an old number. I don't know that they did.
Might be a shell or something that they combine the two in and they get.
They stir things around seemingly up there, don't they?
I'm sure there's a rule that's being abandoned for that purpose.
How they made up a new rule that took out a new rule.
But I did at least want to point out that that's not a typo, that's how it's carried out. We'll see, but there's plenty of time to get that sorted out. All right, thank you very much.
Thanks, Clancy. Next, Commissioner, you have Elizabeth Ward at 9:10.
They're off too. What's up?
Good morning. I can, this is time, you can see.
Thank you, it is visible, the color is different. I thought it was more red than fluorescent orange. So I put it on.
Very best.
It's also Charlie Brown.
Oh, cute.
Thank you.
Ready for Elizabeth?
Good morning, Commissioners. Elizabeth Ward, Finance Director. And I'm presenting today about the holiday leave for 2023. And so I think you guys are aware that, you know, we have a policy that says these certain federal holidays, and it also talks about when Christmas falls on a certain day, then we have the 24th, and when Christmas falls on a different day, we have half of the 24th. And so kind of these, they're different holiday leave each year. And so historically, we have come to commissioners and commissioners have granted an extra day of leave. Honestly, historically, both for New Year's and for Christmas. They're a little odd this year. They fall on a Monday, both of them. And so that would mean the 26th. And if we have that same system, the second, which, you know, after discussing with the department head, seems it just seems like a brand new week and start out on the second. And so something that some of the other counties are doing, just a very few are doing the 29th. And some are doing the 22nd instead of the 26th. So there's kind of a combination of things out there. We had talked about the 22nd versus the 26th, but for our employees, we feel like the benefit is the 26th more so because on Monday, the 25th, people generally celebrate Christmas. And then they're not required to drive home that same day and get ready for work the next day. The reason some of the other counties and the city as well are doing the 22nd is because of payroll. Payroll make a really short week for payroll. However, at Riley County, we have an amazing payroll manager, and she is going to be able to, well, and also our department heads are able to get their time in. So they're going to be able to get that done on a shorter week. So at this point, we have talked with the department heads, when we really are coming to you in reference to the employee engagement survey that we took last year, asking for that intersection, that work-life intersection, to be contemplated a little bit more. And so we are asking that you give us the 26th and the 29th as additional days of holiday leave. And then, of course, there's some alternate scenario here as well that you can think about, or perhaps you have your own as well. I do have information on different counties. I know I just listed the counties there, but I did compile a list of counties and the city and K-State, just kind of all of our areas of what they're doing, if that's of interest. I don't know if it's relevant or not. And I did also put in the number of people. I think it's gone up actually, but it was, where did I see it? So 77, when I found that 77 people had leave requests on the 26th. 49 have leave requests approved for 27, 28, 29.
Well, I know last year we had back-to-back 4-day holiday weekends. And we played hell trying to keep up with business in the early part of January, but we still have things as a county we still need to be able to accomplish, and it really condensed that time frame in early January. So
wasn't that weather too? I thought we closed down last year for some bad weather, didn't we, Rich?
I think we
Is that
took
not-
another.
We had one time I remember that we closed for weather. I don't remember the timing of it though, Catherine. It could have been right.
It was the day before New Year's Eve. So it was actually.
Okay, so that's why we had kind of a little longer
Well,
right in there.
it's still.
And it did work, but, you know, I did talk to the department heads about the effect of their services. And so they have reported that they're all able to manage their services, you know, to this extent.
And we said that last year too. And there's still things that we have to be able to accomplish. Thinking here.
I don't see anything changing the second one.
I don't. No water.
Let's see, you were gonna do December 29th though, instead of the 2nd.
That was our initial request, right? So it'd be the 26th and 29th. But of course, you know,
That would leave 2 days of work.
yeah, that would be a very short week, the last week of the year. between the two holidays, yes, it was very short.
And your office usually closes down a half a day on that last day of the year to do books anyway, right?
Right, so we would have to bump that up to the
Yeah.
20, closing early on the 28th, so. But we'd still be there, and I checked with the staff, and we've had a lot more payments coming in online, and so. And I think historically, we've seen fewer and fewer that were working tax mail that last week anyway, so. We would be able to get it done if we had to.
I'm still not favoring the 29th or the second. Maybe, you know, I don't really have a problem with the 26th though. We can-
Yeah, I'm thinking if we did that extra day for New Year's, it should be the second rather than the 29th, so we have more days.
Think we need an extra day.
No, I don't think we need an extra day there. I'm fine with
Need
being
2 days to recover from New Year's Eve, then you had a problem.
Yeah. And there's a difference. Christmas, you celebrate on Christmas Day,
I know.
New Year's, yeah.
It's really New Year's, the day before is the celebration.
Depends on how bad New Year's Eve was.
Yeah, like I said, you need 2 days, you need 2 days, you got a bigger problem.
And how great the Big State game is on the 28th, so.
Yeah, that's true.
So our game is on the 20th, so if people travel to the bowl game, they'll be,
Yes, I mean, that would be a convenience.
I think that was the initial thinking.
yeah,
Yeah,
originally.
we, of course, we didn't know until Sunday, but we knew it'd be one of those, I think they have 4 or 5 options.
Well, if you're going to the game on the 28th, you're probably gonna have to take off that entire weekend.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So
Probably got to.
it doesn't really matter if we take it or take it not. If you have that time to take to go to the bowl game, please do.
Yeah, Yeah.
Please go hang out in Orlando. It sounds like fun, but
yeah.
don't eat certain types of Pop-Tarts, just for the record. It's not even that.
The traditional,
They're traditional ones, I guess, are
Salt
fine.
vinegar.
At 400 calories a piece, I'd probably tell you not to eat those either, but that's just me.
That's
That's
shocking.
my doctor talking. I gotta say that on the live stream.
you're not agreeing with them anyway.
John, are you serious? 401 Pop-Tarts? Oh my God,
What it says on the box.
that's not worth it.
I said, like put butter and other stuff on it that people do.
I don't like them.
I don't either.
We have to have Pop-Tarts at the meeting that day.
No.
Plain, not frosted.
Yeah, cherry, blueberry, cinnamon.
Oh, you gotta have the frosted.
Frosted. And they gotta be
Pour
so
sugar
hot,
on it.
they gotta be so hot they burn your mouth.
So you're bringing in a toaster.
They are better toasted.
They are.
I'd agree.
They are better toasted, I agree.
But you have time to wait for the toast.
We'll find out.
Guess we can run a commercial toaster.
My goodness.
I've got a toaster I never use. I'll bring it in.
Bring it in. We'll have some here Thursday,
Oh,
28th.
Well,
Well, anyway, back to the original.
anyway,
I don't have any problems with the 26th. I'd like to leave New Year's as is. Yeah.
yeah, I'm favoring that. I just don't like the 2 days. in there to-
Get a motion, Commissioner?
Okay.
I think it's on there, the
One
one
day.
day additional holiday.
Okay, I see it there. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and move to grant one additional day of holiday leave on Tuesday, December 26th.
I'll second.
So moved and seconded to grant 1 day of additional holiday leave on Tuesday, December 26th. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Commissioners, I think that's really great. I mean, I do think that the people will really appreciate having that day on the 26th. And it would really, thank you.
Yep, thank you very much. Staff will appreciate it. Next, Commissioners, you have Elizabeth Ward at 9:20.
Oh, they've gotta have like a Pop-Tarts eating contest between the schools or something.
A Commissioner Pop-Tart eating.
Yeah, well,
contest.
you're really good at talking.
Right into that one. Right.
Clancy?
It's a
Yeah,
natural.
instead of cookies.
Get behind it.
Right into it, I did.
Ew.
That means you have to make it homemade. Who's gonna make homemade
We're
Pop-Tarts?
not making homemade.
Is that-
They're sponsored by Pop-Tarts, Commissioner. That's a company.
Who owns the company? Because that's just the brand name.
It's gotta have that institutional.
Hello.
Give me a minute on Google. I can figure it out. Yeah.
Kellogg's. Yeah. Cereal.
We'll bring you milk
We could
too.
have it, we could have. it in the
No, that's even
legislators.
worse.
We do it during the legislative session, have the legislators. Have a
Wait a minute.
contest with us.
That could be the box lunch.
Oh,
No, you're not getting off that easy.
Trying to be thrifty.
We better get steered in the other direction real quick. Come on.
Somebody.
Ready?
Okay, let's see what's that.
Yep.
Okay, go ahead, Elizabeth.
Thank you.
No more Pop.
No more Pop-Tarts. Okay,
Pop-Tart.
nothing Pop-Tarts. Okay. I don't think there's anything in need to talk about Pop-Tarts. So, monthly, report, you know, this is our December monthly report. So basically the things that we've been working on, and what we're working on to move forward. You guys are aware of our initiatives and what we are trying to provide for Riley County and our community resource area. I wanted to just mention it for this month where we stand. So current head count in our regular employees is 288 and 390 in our seasonal. And you see three things highlighted on this chart. And the reason is because our interns, and I did not realize this last month, our interns are actually in the seasonal side, even though they're not necessarily seasonal, but some of them are unpaid. And so most of them are unpaid. And so they end up in the seasonal. So you'll see a slight difference in numbers and that, which you try to go back to last month, I pulled them out of the regular employees. I had to, back them off. So those are, I want to point out that you would see that difference. So hires the current month, we've got 3 coming in for regular and 4 on seasonal. Over the year, we've got 53 and 56. And then separations for this month, 1 and 1. Which would be November, and then separations for the current year, 40 and 27. All right, and so that's still, I think last month I reported 14.1% turnover, just basically in the same area, and our tenure is the same. We do have currently 4 openings. Unfortunately, last month we had that public works position filled, and then the person who accepted the offer withdrew their acceptance. And so now we still have the public works position open. We have 2 positions in the appraisers and the health department. So we've got some openings there.
That's a total of.
Yes, it's one appraiser position, but we have 2 slots in it. So yes, we want to hire 2 people for this. So there's 4 jobs being advertised.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, and then this hasn't changed, still looking at succession planning. I know we've been talking about that with some of our department heads as we go through. So you've kind of been up to date on some of them. So here's where we are on performance and development. So we are, as a county, looking at some leadership management training. We've got a focus group of kind of a cross-section of employees that are considering the Campus Leadership Center as well as a highly effective managers program. They're trying to think about the best proposal to bring to the department heads and then ultimately, hopefully to the commissioners about what might be the best fit for Riley County for a succinct, focused leadership management training. We also are moving forward on those quarterly CPR trainings. So Josh Gearing is heading that, and he will be presenting to department heads on the 13th of December. And with a plan of how to enact that, and then comprehensive onboarding for new employees. So we mentioned that this was on our agenda last month, and so we'll have to start the planning meetings in January, and Michelle will be leading, being the POC for that. So some of the different departments that we're thinking about is the welcome of that Reach Committee, IT, HR. We'll have to consider software. Our current software, Paylocity, will help us with some of that. And then still thinking about our supervisor training and bringing that on in 2024. So currently, this last month, we had 17 people attend a small group training focused on the concept of when everyone leads, and this was a cross section of employees, really as far as years of service as well as responsibility in the organization. And so they've kind of gotten an in-depth look at how that concept works in an organization and continuing to collaborate on thinking how this would to bring leadership concepts into the Riley County culture. And one of the things we have really focused on there is that it's when everyone leads, is not everyone is the authoritarian or the boss, right? Everyone should have a positive influence on their area of influence. So positive leadership on their area of influence is really what we're trying to get, for people to take responsibility of what their tasks are in their job and their area of influence. And then on January 9th, the library reached out to me and offered to be able to share a training called Tackling Toxicity and Promoting Positivity. So they had already contracted a presenter on that, and they had 28 slots available, asking if we would like to fill them and then cost share. And so it's a $49 per person, and we have 20 as of Friday. We have 22 slots filled. So, and then we have some of departments doing our high performance team building. So we've got individual departments with that as well. So this kind of our compliance focus is personnel manual. So we've got the small work group revisions are in process. The work group has been through all of the manual, and now I'm editing some of the grammar. So things like it had been in first person and we'll move it to third person, those kinds of things, and incorporating their suggestions. And then my goal is to bring it to the department heads in January and to the commissioners by the end of Q1 in 2024. FMLA, Michelle attended advanced FMLA training to get a more in-depth understanding of FMLA. And then she has also provided desk side training to 2 department heads in November. So she's gone to them and given them a thorough training on the FMLA requirements of a supervisor. We've also completed the 2023 W-2 preview audit. So there's the final W-2, of course, isn't out yet, but they give us a preview of what it'll look like so we can go in and check all of our codes. Make sure that everything is in each box correctly. Last year with the transition, we had to do a corrected W-2. And so at this point we don't foresee any issues and are hoping to only have the one W-2 come out. And then interestingly, Michelle testified in Topeka on the values of CAPERS 3, the value of CAPERS 3. They are looking at the effectiveness of CAPERS 3, particularly in recruitment and retention. Which we feel is probably not as valuable as CAPERS 1 and 2. I mean, when I say we, kind of the HR group across Kansas is particularly in the counties that I've been having conversations with. It is really much more similar to a private sector 401k. It doesn't have as much kind of public sector perks as maybe our CAPERS 1 and 2 do. So we've been having a hard time. Not necessarily managing it, but just it hasn't been a draw to keep people in the system. And then we mentioned that we would be analyzing the historic costs of benefits in the future. We are having an analysis of our benefits, meaning our health benefits. So right now, all of our benefits, we budget 39.5% of employee's salary. But we see some changes there. So actually, CAPER's employer rate is going down just a small percentage, very small. A percentage of a percentage, but KPNF is going up, and the health plan rates the employee share will have a rate increase of 5%, and then we are going to start using the 2024 pay scale rates for new hires. So all of these are kind of related updates that would relate to the budget. And then here's some significant, I know we had some questions last month when Rich did his numbers about the health department being over budget. This is something that would affect that, so that there are additional positions added to the health department that were not in the budget. These are all grant funded positions so that the money was applied, but when the budget is put in, the budget has been adjusted later. So you'll see, we'll present that a little bit differently for Rich's December report, so it'll make a little bit more sense. Kind of some demographic information. I thought this was interesting. It's a little bit hard to see in that. Maybe I can make it larger. So out of our funding sources, you might not be surprised at all to know that 76% are county general and 16% is the health department, 5% community corrections, and so far. And then within the general, our largest department is going to be public works, followed by EMS, attorney, and appraiser. And we can actually slice this down a little bit more to see kind of how the salary costs or the labor costs are proportioned over different departments, and it's not always necessarily congruent, right? So not necessarily the largest number of employees has the largest budget for personnel. So just kind of some interesting things to think about with your labor force. And then November was performance review month, so all of the reviews need to be completed by this Friday, December 8th. And I didn't grab a new one this morning before this got put in, but I know that I worked on it yesterday, and we had 111 that were in some form of the process still. So I emailed all of our department heads and supervisors yesterday morning saying, hey, you've got a week to get those complete. The 2024 pay rates are dependent on employees making at least a 3 out of the 5-point rating. So it's a 3, which means expectations. And so we want to make sure that those are completed before we send out the pay rates. The Health Insurance Committee will be reviewing proposals for health insurance analysis. So we've already looked at some proposals. And then they convene that employee committee in January. And that would be specifically looking at the health insurance. There's some thought, or there's some proposals stating that maybe we need to analyze the state of Kansas health insurance and whether or not we want to keep with that's the best system for us at this point. I'm not saying that we would move, but just look at that. And then December focus is year end and New Year's setup. So we'll be updating a couple position descriptions and titles. There's some changes that have to be made there. I know the health department updated you on one in particular that came down from the state. There's some new titles from community corrections, things like that. We also are filling the new positions that are approved for 2024. So we have both the clerk and the attorney position, payroll clerk and the attorney position published and have received applications for those. And then we review performance appraisals, make sure we go through everyone's performance appraisals and make sure that they've all been seen by the department head, supervisor, department head, employee. And then we'll get those updated pay rates in. We will make employees aware of their specific pay rate with a year-end letter, which has been drafted, and we're waiting until the reviews are submitted. That will talk about all of our accomplishments from 2023. It will also talk about their total compensation, so the value of the benefits that we give, and then it will notify them of what their 2024 pay rate will be. And that is everything we're cramming into that month. Any questions? Any thoughts? Anything that you'd like to know that's missing? Great, then I will see you in a little bit.
Commissioners, time for press conference. We have Greg Steer with the RCPD update.
Hi, Greg. Don't have a lot, just a couple reminders. This week on Wednesday, we have our annual Typicop event that we're doing at Texas Roadhouse. We've done this the past several years. It's from 5 to 9 and benefits Special Olympics. I know this has been a very successful event in the past, raising quite a bit of money for that worthy event. So encouraging folks to go out there and please support Special Olympics. As we're heading into the holiday season, I just want to put out a little bit for holiday packages and such as a reminder to the public. We haven't seen a lot of these yet, but if you're able to either have if you're not able to be home when your package arrives, if you could have arrange for someone to be there, or maybe have it come to your work and stuff like that. And definitely a reminder to be aware of that, because we do see an increase in those. Fortunately, we haven't seen a lot of them yet, but it always comes in December. We're going to be putting out some stuff for just general mental health reminders as we're heading into the holiday season. We do tend to see a greater prevalence of those types of calls and domestics as well sometimes as we go through the holiday season. So social media is going to be putting out in conjunction with our co-responder some reminders to de-stress and how to handle that, and we always can come and help as well when we need to. And then just as a heads up, I spoke with Sergeant TD last week to talk about get for this to talk to y'all. Fortunately, things are pretty quiet right now and crime-wise from his perspective in the county, so that's a good thing. Do want to give you a heads up if you're not aware. He has had some conversations, and this was based on feedback from citizens to kind of reevaluate some of the speed zones in areas. Are you guys aware of that a little bit? So he was gonna reach out to KDOT, and that was, based on citizen feedback. And I know the one specifically coming out of Riley, heading through the school, there were some questions about why that was marked the way that it is. So he's going to see what KDOT, get some input from them, and then maybe talk to y'all about, re-examining how that's all structured. So just a heads up on that. And that was based on a lot of people asking questions on why it's marked the way that it is and stuff. So I don't have all the answers for that, but he was wanting to examine it and kind of take a look at what's the best moving forward. So.
Okay.
Anything else?
Yeah, thanks, Greg. Have a good holiday. Thank you.
Safe out there.
Next commissioner, you have Shelley Woodard at 9:35. It is time, actually.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'll change along a copy of the map that's in the packet in case you wanted to see that a little closer. It's exactly the same thing. It's in the packet, it's just a little different.
There's an extra one here.
You can have it that would like it. Like that, it's exactly the same thing that's in the packet online. It's just in case you wanted to have that in front of you. Yeah, just like a bigger copy. You can also probably zoom in on that your packet of one place there would be. Essentially, what we have today is a proposed resolution to commence eminent domain proceedings for the Keats Sewer District project. We talked about that in the public hearing, if you recall, that we are still pursuing a voluntary contract, and that's not going to stop, but we do have, as you are aware, some deadlines that we have to meet for our USDA funding application as we continue to monitor this project. And as you know, we're going down multiple paths at the same time to see what funding we can get, what the feasibility will ultimately look like. And this is just one of those avenues to keep, because of the deadlines, to keep moving so that we don't miss those deadlines. And so that is what this resolution would do. We would develop a legal description for the property that you see outlined there, and then file that. Most likely it would be, or we would get that on file with the courts. At any time up until we would pay for the project, we've talked about this in the past, we can pause it, we can withdraw it. And so if we are able to come to a voluntary agreement, we can end the domain proceedings at any time up until we've paid for the property after the appraisal report that comes. And, a little bit about the procedure. I think we've talked about that as well. Essentially, you file with the court. They determine that if we have the authority to use eminent domain, which we do, and whether or not it's a public project. When they make that determination, then they work through the appraisers who will schedule time, go out and look at the property, we'll get an appraisal report, and then once we get that, we'll have 30 days to either we'll pay for the property and then we'll take title, or choose not to, depending on that appraisal. Do you have any questions on the resolution or anything else that I might be able to answer regarding the Keats project and where we're at?
So we discussed this a lot before, and this does give us an extra option, several options. It would give us about 3 options to look at.
So for reference, the property, and in case anybody doesn't remember, it's directly west of the Keats Park. Keats Park. And I don't know if the map gives you a good idea of where exactly that's not, because if you can see the wider area, but if you know where the Keats Park is, it's the property directly to the west.
And this is a property we used in the grant application, correct? The USDA.
Mm-hmm. I believe so. Yes, it is.
Fashion.
I can tell you my stance on this has changed. I'm not for eminent domain of this. property for this particular reason. There's still a lot of ifs. We haven't even done the required testing. I know there's some challenges based off of that. There are several other options I still think could be looked at for the taking of private property, whether we end up doing something voluntary or not. I'm just not going to do it. To me, you're doing it involuntarily, which means you're taking it whether you're paying for it or not. Sorry.
Well, in the offer that we are pursuing, it does have, it's based on testing. And
Yeah.
testing that has to be done. And it doesn't lock us into buying property or doing.
I know if it was my property, which it's not, and I didn't want to give it up voluntarily, I'd fight like hell for it, including legally.
Well, it wouldn't be giving it up, it'd be selling voluntarily.
Well, I'm saying involuntarily. If I didn't want to give it up and somebody, regardless if it was government or not, wanted to take it, I would fight. I'd use every legal means, and I think that's probably what's going to end up happening here at some point in time too, so. And I point out that the county at some point in time will have to negotiate other properties for other needs and others. And what type of a message does that send? That's something I still look at. I still think is very much so part of the discussion. We got to look at that at some point in time. So we're willing to do that here. Who's going to want to negotiate that if we decide to do the same thing to somebody else later on down the road? So
Every case is separate. There's not a
I
precedent.
agree.
We're not setting a precedent for anything.
We have one motion on resolution.
I move the board approves the resolution to direct county counselor's office to initiate eminent domain proceedings.
I second that. All in favor? Aye. All opposed?
Aye.
Motion passed.
Commissioners,
Two commissioners, please sign. Next commissioner, you have Russell Stuckey up at 10 o'clock. I don't feel it.
No, I've got one. So I think I've got 3 of them.
Yeah.
I'll bring you more.
I've got an extra one here too.
There you go. And so you can frame one.
Yeah, well, I'm sure there'll be many more trying.
You.
Honestly, I just bought this, so I just wanted to break it in. So was actually given drugs pretty similarly to that today. And
Oh, really?
my alarm this time that it was
I
not good.
couch. Wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
So, because I let it
Really
yeah,
have to
instead of
have-
a,
it's been in storage.
I was like, oh,
And, you know, reupholstered ones, but I'm thinking of
Almost
reupholstering.
didn't dress like this, so.
But it should have
Storage is on tonight.
So I'm going to tell you, this lady, my normal lady,
I have an interview.
didn't have, couldn't get on her couch.
Wednesday.
This lady was in Trace
Who was it?
So it was just kind of
You
like-
said something.
business, friendly business.
Yeah.
And she's up there, you do, you know,
Oh, because we had to make it so on 16, because we had a chair, a big rocking chair. That had leather in the back.
Oh, yeah.
Lots of big wood frame thing. And my mom had read that at once.
Oh.
Somehow luckily I got the, I was gonna pick the truck.
Oh, it's really, yeah.
I'm sure that go online, made some bottom cow pie. That they-
Oh, you did?
If you said you need a whole one because there's so many flaws.
Too many things in it, yeah.
Pieces of it. And she rebuilt his lip. Yeah, the mom changed it a little bit. We've got a picture. She goes to school, great grandmother's sitting, he's sitting in a chair and she's sitting on the mama's chair because he died. He's only 5. That's how old this thing is. You got, and you can see enough of it to see how it was originally put together. You got to read it. No.
Did, were they good at redoing it?
Yeah, she did a great job.
No, over at 16, because I used to get another estimate. It's like, it's talking about it.
I can't remember its name.
But this thing has got, it's got like lion's hip feet,
Oh, yeah.
you know, and I've got a chair that matches it that I had redone
Okay.
twice. This one's already been redone once. It has really, it's got, I've got all two temporary rooms in my house, so I'm trying to figure out how that blended in. I think it depends on the fabric. But this lady has never, she wants to do it, but she would play center because I haven't found anybody here that do it. On 16?
Yeah, always like this.
Okay.
She can text.
Yeah, because I'd like to get another estimate.
Still got.
This thing was covered originally in that old brown mohair with tapestry on it. You know, when it was in the sitting room, parlor, or whatever it was in their house. And we could only look at it. Sit on it at Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Oh, hey, Catherine's got a, she was talking about getting that chair in the folder, get find the name and number of that lady that did the Ross chair and text it to her.
My generation.
Oh, you got it right there. Okay, go ahead.
They're just doing this.
Judy.
Everyone else just.
AMTUR. GEY.
Amber G.
Andrew.
Yeah.
211 North 18.
Oh, 200 North 18.
But I was doing.
Okay. 320. I see that. Okay. Oh, we have another phone that's for us.
Oh, okay.
Okay. 913. 5.
Actually, my experience with,
Yeah. 0074.
That's the same lady.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought we had there. She
did a good job.
Oh, yeah, she did a great job here.
And it's,
Yeah,
Yeah, good. Yeah, this is a real antique couch.
she's got an antique house and she's looking to get new doors. Okay, yeah. Yeah, okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Laura Roethlisberger, who gave us her name, you know, her.
Laura.
Roethlisberger, yeah.
Maybe.
It's Jordy's mother-in-law, but
Oh, really?
she's got
Okay.
that place out there on Tunnel Creek. Or on Valley Boulevard, it's kind of got a wine.
Oh,
You
yeah.
get to the old.
The vintage thing down, yeah.
It's kind of back from the road. She has that.
Oh, okay.
That's who she used before.
Well, this is, I would have to get it up to,
She's not more than
really?
this big and she probably stole his ass and she wrestles it around. Because
Well, this thing is gonna be hard to wrestle, it's heavy.
this thing, this like this
It's
chair,
all
wood frame,
furniture.
it's wood frame, it's oak.
Yeah,
So
I don't know, mine's not oak, it's gotta be like cherry. I know it's really heavy there. Every time I've moved that couch, people complain about it. Yeah, we don't wanna move it, it's 300 pounds. So it's not that, it's probably 200. But I had it done, redone once in Florida when we lived there. And then Joel's growing up. With it. I said, well, are you gonna want it? Am I gonna spend all this money and then, someday when I'm gone, nobody wants it? Oh, no. You gotta live for yourself. It's not, yeah, okay.
I had a picture of the Senator brothers. And the guy,
I kind of gathered.
Well, I've also got one of the old, sit down vanities with the fold out mirror, a bed set. I don't know what I'm so that's all I have left in the story. I gotta get that stuff. It's
That's kind of how we're trained the same.
ridiculous.
Story. I don't really know, but
yeah, I must have been, yeah, I didn't know.
Okay, well, I'll give her a call because this lady texted me back. Said I can do it, but I have to get it to Tri Center. Oh, that's cool.
This picture is the picture of my great grandfather and grandmother sitting in the chair.
It's a beautiful chair. I love the arms and things.
Yeah.
It's like a sled almost.
Yeah.
That's great.
Looks like it's a big heavy.
So they had to redo the wood too.
No, the wood was okay. My mom had redone his wood. So if she had put just some different fabric on it in the seat and crashed. It was,
Oh, yeah.
He sat in it like this.
Little frame.
Yeah. So she said, oh, no. He said, I think it was this. Oh, no. In that age, this year, they would have been, that age, they would have been doing this all. This was.
Talk to her because this lady has never really done anything and was really worried about, and me getting it there. I have to hire somebody. Move it to play center.
Well, that's what she did, she needs to deliver it to her family.
Well, it'd be easier to hang out with it.
Yeah.
And, they gave me an estimated price of fabric. Knowing me, I'll pick
I
up.
do enjoy like.
But it's, I mean.
It'll last forever. The kids will have it.
With the picture, we always, I don't know how big it is. I said, okay, 1860.
Something, yeah.
1860, but he's sitting in this chair and his shoulder is above the back of
Above the
it.
back of it, yeah.
And mine, it's that much, mine is much below it.
He was a tall guy.
He was a big guy. He said, I never came, so I didn't even. Grandma was still around. And she.
And she probably just looked like a child in that chair.
Yeah. Well, she's, like I said, she's sitting up on the arm.
Oh, yeah. Huh.
And they got our massages on. We're wondering if it was. And they had a version.
Anniversary.
Or something. They got it outside. They said outside.
Oh,
Really neat picture.
Yes.
There's some beautiful pieces that are around and, a lot of people just discard them or whatever. And I have another rocking chair. The garage. And it's okay. It had a piece of it, but it got, my grandmother split up all of her furniture. This child gets this, and then you split the set up. It had a companion piece with it, but it got sold in the sale. I don't know. It's a neat old piece too, but I don't have any room for that. And the couch I'd have to sell.
This one like to, but my folks, we've been, they know a lot of. The assisted living there.
Oh,
We went in and sorted through stuff. I wanted to share.
the chair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they could do a little stuff that went much there.
Oh, I told my daughter, I said, you're gonna have a whole lot more to do with this couch.
Well, the kids don't want it.
I think so.
He said, One of my granddaughters, I worked cleaning this chair.
Oh, she did?
She's like, do I get this? I want this when you guys are calling. I'm just, she already, she's 13.
13.
But she,
Oh, that's cool.
they're kind of sketchy. She already,
Maybe
the
so.
kids are interested in the grade. Because they think that. I do a story like.
Well, it is, it's made well, and,
My daughter, she goes very modern stuff.
well, I have contemporary stuff too, but I've also got other pieces. Older than I am, you know,
Yeah.
sofa table. Pieces there, yeah, when they,
Well, that's what we got. Oh, yeah. They're into the dresser. Stuff that came from. It's James 145. Their grandparents. She was. A little nicer. And it's gone through several varieties.
Several varieties.
I think we paint. At one point, I painted it. And that's red, white, blue. The drawers, the top red, white, blue.
yeah,
But then, and then at one point I got it back because they didn't want to use that, stripped it all down.
Stripped it all down.
Stored it back, gave it back to it.
yeah.
And then it was sitting next to the rocker, so that I got that. Stood next to the rocker now. But it was Dad's night when he was a kid.
Well, I'm looking at that, that vanity would be kind of cool. I don't, you know, I don't know if I can. My daughter had it when she was in her room. It's got vanity. I don't really have anything a whole lot, you know, but. After you read the downside. I don't know.
It's here. Working out, you know, because that's what's pulling it.
Oh, yeah.
Basement. It's all this. Came with all that stuff. That barn. Yeah.
And it sits there.
And sat there and. Well, been 4 or 5 years ago now. Another. They moved to Leavenworth. And we got a giant house, 6,000 square feet.
Yeah.
After having a new class.
Oh.
Up there, the 3-story,
How good.
one of those giant brick houses right there. You know, 'cause, I don't know, they was kept things to a minimum, because you can get overcharged if it's over a certain amount, so they just need that, and they give us could be less. So they came and filled up the ground in the store in our barn. He said the only condition was not gonna let them back.
Yeah.
It's-
You want to take it, but don't bring it.
He fixed stuff, stuff, a little bit, said that, yeah, fixed stuff.
If I were to refinish it, I'd take it in the vanity, strip it down. Maybe somebody else come in. It would actually go into the room.
It was from 2018.
But you know, it's all furniture.
No, I think.
I've got a whole kind of closet for it.
Yeah, well,
We, I just got rid of, we have one point. Yeah. Disposal of McKinley, we need to resident. Disposal of McKinley.
Oh, really? Are you related to one? Yeah. I'm trying to. My daughter's been at Thanksgiving, she says, thank you, mother, for not getting the China. So I steal it.
Yeah.
Every year I used to make her,
Oh.
you know.
Oh, we need
China.
to.
This year I did that. Thank you, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, whatever. Different places. We got one, sheet music for his hand.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And we got, we got these memorials, it's in one flat, I got a female ratio, it's 35. Seven music.
From where?
Not a memorial service. Yeah. It's different things. The one thing that I thought, but next there, because we can make that. Are you? I've got tracks like things.
Yeah.
I've got big elephant about that building, citizen Kendall and Teddy, because why is that Rose?
Was it Rose?
Second,
Teddy?
first time it was supposed to, second look back. There's some penny banks from their campaigns in 1900.
Oh, wow.
Ready for Russell?
Morning, Commissioners. Russell speaking, County Emergency Management Fire District number 1. Fairly normal stuff for monthly reports. Done with home game football season, and so we don't have to do those meetings anymore and work those football games, which is good and bad. One thing that will be different is typically we don't get involved too much with basketball, but K-State has asked since there is going to be a lot of construction, more new construction up there. They are going to need a light tower probably for night basketball games with the combination of construction and the anticipated higher attendance. So we will be doing some of that during basketball with the light, providing a light tower. I've had the pleasure of meeting with the new Kansas Fire Marshal, Mark Inkholm, which I've known professionally for probably 20, maybe 30 plus years. I think he's going to be a really good addition to the fire marshal's office, and be really good for the state, not only from the fire marshal's aspect, but he's pretty involved with emergency management. So I think it will be a double motives there for the state. And our previous fire marshal was a good guy, and nothing wrong with him, but I think Mark will be a nice change and a good improvement. We, as you know, we got going on Station 102, the Ashland Fire Station, and the building had contracts have all been signed. The building has been ordered. Gonna get the contractors looked at it and asked for just a little bit more dirt work done. So that was getting that arranged, and the ball's rolling. I think we actually have the generator in already for that station. We got it ordered, and in case there was delays, and it's already here, so that's a good thing. Another conversation I had with the fire marshal was apparently the fire marshal has been able to actually get some staff hired, and they have more inspectors going out, and they are going out randomly inspecting. I think I've kind of mentioned to you before, there's been a couple of event venues that they've inspected here in the county, and we didn't know it. And so I talked to the fire marshal about, hey, could you let us know when you're coming to our area and doing an inspection? Because just the other day we had went out and done the inspection, and then they apparently showed up a few days later to do another inspection. And I talked to the fire marshal that morning at a meeting actually here in town, and by that evening I had an email back from him that said, yeah, they're supposed to be doing that. They're going to get reminded of that, and sorry that happened. So again, I think that's going to be a good change. But you could be hearing from different event venues, especially places of gathering with higher occupancy, that fire marshals coming out and inspecting and being a little more strict. We'll see where that goes. I know one event venue that I worked with, but technically before Mark came on, they said they didn't know if they were going to be able to comply, and so they may not be open. So we'll see. But jury's still out. So we did do something different. We tried something we had tried before from for multiple reasons, to maybe contact the public a little more, both on fire prevention and safety and emergency management awareness and recruiting. We had a booth at the Manhattan Farm Show. I would say it wasn't nearly as successful as we hoped it would be, and so I don't anticipate doing that again, but we thought it was worth a try. So got to try some things, and some are going to work and some aren't. And that one, I don't think works all that well, so. Another thing that is on our radar that we're gonna be probably have to deal with, it may be a couple years still, but we're starting to look at reporting software. The company that we've been using got bought out by a bigger company, and so they are going to be end of life here before long. It's kind of that vicious cycle of the industry consolidates and just a couple of vendors, and then they start jacking the prices up, and then it becomes more lucrative. So some new ones, littler ones get in and are able to cut prices and still make money. And then the big ones buy them up again. And so it's a vicious cycle. So the sad part is the preliminary numbers we've seen, I think they have started to get a little better. Was, you know, we've been paying like $2,700, $3,000 a year for the software to do all our fire reports and comply with the national fire reporting requirements. And the quote we got that a new one would be like, $12,000 versus $3,000. So we're looking at, we've been working with Manhattan Fire Department. They're using the same software we are right now, so they're looking to you. And so we've both been on joint webinars looking at different options. Nothing that we're gonna have to do anything on the next 6 months or a year, I don't think, but trying to see what's out there and see what options we have. On the staffing report there in the blue on that last page, that our numbers are creeping up. You know, we've had some success in recruiting. Primarily that's been in the stations here right around Manhattan. You know, we still are way short on the farther out you go, the shorter we are. You know, we get down to Zedale, and we go north to, you know, Leonardville and Mayday and even Riley. We are short of people and still trying to recruit them. So if anybody knows anybody that they think, especially that lives in those areas, that would be a good volunteer firefighter, you know, give me or somebody on my staff, you know, their name and contact information. We can send them information and see if we can get some recruiting going. So if you know anybody, you know somebody, say something. You know, the saying is see something, say something. Well, if you know somebody, say something. So, you can see the run reports, all fairly normal for this time of year. Nothing really stands out as out of the ordinary. And then I didn't keep a copy for myself of it. Got the extinguisher there. That's our newsletter. We've started to put it out to the members, and I think it's been received well. So got you a copy of that hot off the presses. I think that's all I have on from that stuff. The other thing unless you have any questions on any of that, I just went over. The other thing I wanted to talk about was in 2015, my predecessor submitted a CIP project that was approved to replace the emergency generator at Powerful. Powerful is what we would use, one of the locations that we would use if we needed to open up an emergency shelter, you know, whether it was due to a blizzard that shut down I-70 or an ice storm that took out power in our large section of town, and we need to put up like a warming shelter, open a warming shelter or something. And that would be one place where we do that. It was determined going back in 2015 that generator was on its last legs. I didn't even know the project was there when I started, and I realized, after a year or so after I'd been here, that project was there and needed to be dealt with. Of course, we were in COVID and generators in short supply, and we had to get the electrician out there to look at it and see what we need. Well, we finally have got all the stars aligned between Evergy and the electrician, and we have a quote. So the project was approved in 2015 for the dollar amount that it was, and we can actually get it done still for $126 over that price. One way that is going to happen is the electrician determined we can reuse the transfer switch that's there, we just need to replace the generator. No doubt in 2015, that price would have covered the generator and the transfer switch. And so if the electrician said he thinks the transfer switch is fine. That will actually save a bunch of labor and electrical work with not having to replace it, not only the switch itself. And so we can get it done for $126 over. My question to the commission is, and we'll bring it back for an official motion at a later meeting. Probably your business meeting Monday if you approve of this, but for giving me the thumbs up is this is the only company in town that can sell it and service it and install it. And so I would like to propose to the commission that this be a sole source purchase. And another reason for that is if we go out of town, what we learned with the radio towers here just a couple months ago, we had a generator give a high voltage error. The county shop looked at it. They said, we don't have the software and it's above us. And so we had to call in the company that came out of Kansas City. And 2 trips later and $140 alternator and I think a $70 or $80 regulator and $5,000 for travel and labor, we got it fixed. So I think it would behoove us long term to keep it local as best as possible, especially on this commercial generator thing. So if the commission is okay with that, I would submit probably next Monday to complete this CIP project with the quote from the local company as a sole source. And
What is the total cost?
$40,126. And the CIP project was $40,000.
Amazing, it's only come up $126.
Well, like I said, the original would have included a new transfer switch. To put that new transfer switch in now would be an additional 10 to 15,000.
Yeah.
Okay,
Plus a ton more labor because it is a spaghetti bowl mess of electrical wires from Evergy to Potterfall, and it's ancient. And if you disturb that, it's going to be a mess.
replace everything.
And so leaving the old transfer switch is basically going to save 15 to 20,000. But no doubt in 2015, when it was approved, it was replaced.
Just kind of curious why it wasn't taken care of then in 2015. Thoughts? It was an approved project.
Priorities, it's just like every CIP process you go through, how big a priority really is it? And
But he's saying it was actually approved. It wasn't just on the list, or am I not understanding?
Right, it was approved in 2015.
Yeah.
yeah, or maybe they're having trouble getting it for that cost. I mean,
You're
there's 8 years of water under the bridge
Yeah.
since then.
Yeah,
Long before me. And I've, we've worked with John Ellerman and Evan on it, and so they're in the loop, and the Parks Department
Yeah.
had to trim some bushes that were blocking some things, and so it's why it was, I suppose because it was an emergency generator, why emergency management took it for the CIP project, but it's it's a public works deal too, so but we've been working with them, they're fully aware and agree. So if the commission agrees, then I will submit a purchase request for next Monday for the business meeting. And the delivery time is what is it? I think it's 20 weeks is the delivery time. So
It's better than 20 years of where we were I'm being a little facetious.
so it'll be approximately, yeah.
I don't have any problem with that.
No, it's fine.
Okay, well, I will submit that. And that's all I have unless you have any other questions for me.
Thank you.
Commissioners, 10:15, yeah, Vivian Leyva. You know how to clear a room.
Guess we did it all faith in you, huh?
I was a little offended. Oh, well.
Yeah.
I've seen him one other time.
What's his name?
Bernie, he's from Canton.
Bernie.
Okay,
He's been here.
yeah, I've seen it before, I just. Okay, man, we're ready.
All right, well, I'm ready.
We didn't leave.
Can
Can we?
I'm just kidding.
I'll just talk to the audience online if I have to. Well, it's been a while since I've talked with you, so we've got quite a lot to cover, and we're gonna also include AI, and I'll try not to derail the conversation by talking about AI and all the weird possibilities. The good news is I'm pretty satisfied with how communication has been going. Last week marked my second year with the county, which has flown right by. We'll start with social media, because it's my least favorite.
I'll second that.
I'm starting to garner a following now, so that's one of my favorites now.
I know, you got some positive feedback, that's not a bad thing. Maybe we'll set up a meeting.
Okay.
Talk about, you can give me some pointers.
I can do that.
So our followers are increasing steadily. I only have Facebook on here. X, with the platform formerly known as Twitter, is going all over the place. We don't post there, or I don't post there consistently anymore. We do still have an audience. The accounts are still active for Riley County Emergency Management, the Health Department, the Fire Department, and EMS. We have 5 total accounts with X. This morning I posted an announcement about the siren test, which is today. But so I still use it kind of for emergency and awareness, but I don't invest a lot of time in it. So we'll see where it goes. I also took the X link off the homepage and replaced it with LinkedIn. So we have a spot for a certain number. So I took X off of there and put LinkedIn, since we're not really actively participating in X.
That's a call for, that's my phone. That's the monthly warning. Right on
Yes,
cue.
How much is that worth?
Huh?
What song?
I kind of like the background.
It's The Godfather.
That's what it is.
So I will ask you for a favor. Someday. Talk about CIP.
Well, we're gonna hear my dog howl.
Go on.
But as with all things, kind of the predictions for what's going to happen next with social media is more AI involvement. However that looks, I have no idea what the future is going to hold, but there's going to be more AI in it. Videos are more popular, and if a picture's worth 1,000 words, videos worth 1,000 pictures.
Tell me about it.
And then private messaging groups. I don't know if you're aware of that, you're from Manhattan and kind of Manhattanings, and people are turning to those a little bit more to get and post information instead of just the wide public. So, and we do participate in those when we've got something going on. I requested membership, and we have membership in several of those groups, so that kind of helps to amplify our message. Moving on. So one thing I'm really proud of, and this is because we have such wonderful staff who are both good at talking with the media and willing to talk with the media, really known as a go-to spot. And that makes me very proud, because we're getting coverage not just during emergencies or tragedies or those kinds of situations, but during good times too. They'll call us and say, hey, my interview person backed out on me, or I couldn't get a hold of anybody. Do you guys have anything? And as a matter of fact, we do. So on short notice, we can get folks to come talk to reporters, and that gets us a lot of extra coverage. And at the low end, we could say maybe 3,000 people subscribe to a certain media platform. If I could say 3,000 people are going to be at this meeting today, that gives a little bit of perspective on how valuable each of those interactions are truly. And the only people who are authorized to speak with the media are, of course, elected officials, but department heads, department assistants, others who've had specific training and then have permission from department heads. So reporters aren't just walking in from off the street and saying, hey, you on the road crew, talk to us about taxes. That's not something that's ever going to happen. Or I'm not going to say over my cold dead body, but we have a system in place to prevent that kind of interaction from happening. So it all should be coordinated through me, and knock on wood, things are going pretty well. And so we're going to continue with that, continue building on those good relationships. I mentioned video. And just kind of as a statistic, this shouldn't really come as a surprise that YouTube reaches more people 18 to 49 than all TV cable networks combined. And we know it's popular. It's where people go to learn something. How do I change the alternator on my car? How do I dress for an interview? It's a place where you go to learn things. And I've spent, it's been quite a while trying to learn how to edit video professionally, and I finally crossed the threshold where I think I can produce good quality videos. Again, knock on wood, we'll see. I hope so. And YouTube is also the second most popular search engine, right behind Google. And people want to know, so they search YouTube too. So for both of those reasons, going to be trying to invest a little more heavily in video this next year. Russell's been great about inviting me to trainings and fire scenes, and recruiting, as you know, is a big priority for the department. We're doing kind of spotlight videos for current volunteers. That was the point. I crossed the line, okay, I maybe kind of understand how to do this, because we've got the interview, we've got B-roll, we've got a way to make it an attractive looking video as a tool for recruitment. To say the first one was JD Dunstan from Randolph, and her, somebody who looks like you, talking about her experience as a volunteer firefighter, and you see her going into the interior trailer where they simulate a kitchen fire, and they get real practice putting it out, and that kind of thing. It's just real people in our county doing this work, and I think is a really powerful tool. And we did some updated election videos. It takes a while to produce.
I had people just come up to me and talk about it too.
Said it was really good information, but you needed a better model.
I would agree. I got arm twisted into that. So.
I disagree. My evaluation is due this.
Very good. Good time.
I would mention one thing on there when you talk about the cable networks. The cable networks are actually putting their content on YouTube. So it isn't just segregate. Now they know how important that is to reach that particular critical demographic. So, nightly news is happening live and not just recorded and then put it on there, but, NBC, I've seen ABC, CBS, those networks actually doing their live evening news broadcasts, live stream through YouTube as well. So,
yeah. So we're trying to keep pace with the future, but it's going to be changing all the time. Website. Still our most valuable digital communication. We have thousands of people who visit our website every month, about 20,000 engaged sessions. In fact,
that's just for November.
That's just for November.
Makes sense.
And not even all days of November. I took the stats last week. So they are also changing the way to do analytics. So I listed engaged sessions. That's a little different than the total sessions I've listed in the past, because they're looking at things a little bit differently too. This is people who have stayed on the site for more than 10 seconds, which the other ones, if it's an accidental click, that doesn't really tell us anything. So we're just going to look at the engaged sessions and the popular pages. And I struggle to keep up with this, and I have training that I do for staff so that they can make updates to the site. It's difficult to wrangle, but I spent a few hours on Saturday. I took a little class on Microsoft Planner, and I mapped out kind of some things for the year and a workflow. So I'm going to talk to to Rich and maybe even to Corey and department heads about, okay, how can we really get this under control? Because on the, well, website advice, I'm gonna skip that. We need to keep the content, make sure that it's accurate, all the links work, that it's optimized for the web. People scan it, they don't read it like a news article. They're gonna go to a website and look for bullet points for the specific information that they need. So it's a different kind of writing. But again, talking about AI, in 24, Google is going to change the way it produces search results. They're going to use AI software. So on the left, it's hard to see from here, but if you Google how to renew your driver's license in Riley County, the left side of your screen is what currently shows up. The top result is a quote from our website and then a link to the driver's license page of Riley County's website. On the right is the new generative AI experience. And instead of leading you to a website or quoting a website, it's just going to answer the question for you. So it pulls out the bullet points for how AI, after searching everything available on the internet, it answers the question for you. Doesn't tell you where it got the information.
That's the part of struggle.
That's, but thankfully our link still appears first. But if we're, to me, that gives us an extra double pressure to make sure our information is right, because it is informing this answer as well. And hopefully it's looking at credible sites. There's so much I don't know.
Yeah.
So much I don't know about it, but we're going to try to keep our
AI
information.
doesn't make that distinction.
Mm-mm.
That's why I think when you have that website advice that we have to check that once a year, I think you're going to find you're going to have to check that multiple times, if not monthly.
And finding a workflow for that, we have more than 2,000 pages of content, and each department has different stuff. If, you know, finding out on the WIC page that their income requirements have changed, I have no idea when that happens. Their staff have to do that part of the work. And so figuring out that partnership, not expecting everybody to have the knowledge and expertise and training to be able to update the website, but the content experts are communicating when changes need to be made. But if I'm the only person, that it's still kind of bogged down. So we've got to find a good solution for that. Because I could spend all 40 hours a week on the website and still not get it all done. So we're going to figure it out. This I just threw in for fun. I was at a conference where two folks from Kansas City, is like AI club, came and talked to us, and we all just kind of sat slack-jawed, thinking, what on earth is going to happen next? I've seen that movie. It doesn't go well for the humans.
They told you.
Yeah, I have been. And this was his quote. It's just going to be weird. You have no idea.
You're going to have to steer into it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. One thing, ChatGPT in particular, they suggested doing, and that's that next page. These are results from ChatGPT. You can ask questions. It kind of distills the internet from 2022. The free version has taken everything on the internet from 2022. You can ask questions. I asked, what questions do people living in Riley County, Kansas have about local government? Because we internally, we know what we're excited about, what we think is important. From the public's perspective, we can ask that question, what's important to them, and to make sure that we're communicating that. Those were the top results. And I think that's probably true. Their top interest was, how is my tax money being used? So we've got the budget published online. We have the new OpenGov platform that should, when it goes live, I've seen the previews, make it a lot easier to visualize the budget, click through, see like the pie chart of where spending happens, what those projects are, working to help answer that question. I told you it was a lot. So then looking ahead to 2024, certainly keep doing what we're doing, continue to engage with the media, invest in the systems that work well. One presenter at the CAPIO conference earlier this year suggested mailing a printed newsletter, like the old way of doing it. Doing that once or twice a year is actually going to be the most effective tool for getting information to people, which I didn't fall out of my chair, but I thought, well, goodness, okay. So it all comes back around. We don't get a lot of like useful mail anymore. Amanda's attendance at public comp planning meetings, getting 30, 40 people because she mailed a postcard invitation to each neighborhood. To me, that reinforces this presenter's claim that direct mail is pretty powerful. It's expensive, so the tool we can only use, like we have to use judiciously, it's hard to say. But you know, we have that in our tool belt, so we can decide how to use that, focus on the fundamentals, more video, how to use AI, and keep track of time, and that's about the time. But comprehensive plan, gonna try to use AI to help with that. We didn't get a consultant on board to help with the process, and we have, I think, about 700 survey responses, and each of those has multiple open-ended long format comments. There's no way for one human to be able to sort through and assign meaning. So I gave this as an example, the old word clouds. You can plug information in and it tells you what the most popular words and themes were. It's going to be a system that functions a little bit like that. We're going to plug the comments in and then see what rises to the top for all that. So more to come, but that's just kind of a general overview of what's been going on in the communications front. And I got to be in the parade with Catherine.
Yeah,
that was
fun.
Ever. I was born to wave at people.
Yeah, she was in the back waving, I was in the front waving, and it was fun.
Yeah, good turnout.
Especially all the kids, they really liked it.
They all wanted them to honk.
Oh yeah, they're all.
But thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next commissioner, you have Shiloh Hager.
Well, the kids that were just still like babies that were babies. It was fun.
Good morning, commissioners. Shiloh Hager. Well, here I am again with the request to fill a position, but it's no longer a frontline position. The tax supervisor will be retiring at the end of December. Thankfully, she did it after tax season is over. So I do appreciate that, but I now am here to request permission to put that position out to be hired. Our goal initially is to put it out internally. To see what kind of candidates we have here within Riley County, or our organization before we posted out full. This position is primarily responsible for overseeing all of the tax operations within the treasurer's office, preparing and mailing the tax statements, doing the tax distribution, the collection process, the delinquent process. They oversee all of that. Currently in the tax department, there's just 2 people, the supervisor and then 1 person that works underneath that position. So it's a very vital position in our office, and one that I think we need to continue to have filled.
You're saying that the person now is going to be leaving at the end of the summer?
December.
Sorry,
okay. Sorry, the braces kind of December.
December. Okay.
Yeah.
That's right.
December 27th will be her last day.
So we need to get this posted by then.
How long? And I know she's been for a number of years. How long has she been in that position?
Well, she took over as the tax supervisor when I became treasurer. So she's been the tax supervisor for just a little over 9 years. She's been in the tax department since, I've been here since 2004. So she moved into the tax department shortly after I came on board. So about 18 years in total in just the tax department. Mhm, mhm.
We can't replace that. Knowledge.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. You happy to answer any other questions you might have?
None for me.
I move to approve the request to fill a tax supervisor position in the treasurer's office.
Second,
It's been moved and seconded to approve the request to fill the tax supervisor position in the treasurer's office. All in favor? Aye.
All three sign, please.
Thank you very much, commissioners.
Shallow, next commissioner, you have John Ellerman. 1040. You. So you got the right time down for Tuesday. You triple checked it, right?
doesn't matter. Maybe in Wichita.
That's true. You still want to watch it.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch my nephew and his son's gonna use her tickets.
Good, good.
He's a big. He did go to his state, but he's both his sisters graduated.
Uh-huh.
And both his brother.
Oh, really?
But real good, because he recently got remarried. He's not bringing stick because we've got two stepsons that are basketball stars.
Oh, cool. Good, good.
One of them's been in North Carolina fan.
Uh-huh.
We're working on twisting.
That's funny. That'll be an interesting K-State basketball scene. I think Kansas basketball, because KU struggled with some teams you wouldn't have thought they'd struggle with too. They beat some really good teams and
He's pretty good UConn team.
huh?
They beat UConn.
Yeah, and then they went and played a lesser team and barely beat them.
Yeah.
Just the same week we did.
There's a lot more stuff going on at KAC on step 2 on that first day than there typically is. I'm not gonna get down there until late afternoon, but
I'll get there in the middle of the morning. I got my 8 o'clock chamber meeting tomorrow morning, then I'm going right after that, so. I'll get
I'm
there.
gonna try to put in
Middle
a
morning.
day or so's worth of work. Can't check into the hotel until 3, so.
Right. How's John?
Wonderful.
Good.
What's what people say?
Are you ready?
I don't know who they are.
Yes.
I don't think your update, Elizabeth, included all these.
The new positions, no, they will be open until December.
Right.
And
I didn't know if this was included in the. No.
no, it won't be future,
Oh.
positions are open, but I will tell you that when I go back to the office, I found out that the IT position is now open again, so. Have that choice.
When we just rehire,
The person rescinded their acceptance.
Start over.
Hopefully I don't have that much. But close. Good morning, Commissioner John Elderman, Public Works. I'm here to ask to fill a traffic control technician position. Just recent resignation from our newest employee there. I guess the backstory is he's been trying, he's went to school to be a lineman and has made applications at a few places to be that weren't hiring at the time, took our position to have something. Position come open in Wamego and he thought he'd take the chance to do something he wanted to do, more so than anything with the department and pay. So actually, I think he's looking for less pay than just to get into a field he wants to be into. And so I have that position. I'd like to your permission to fill it and budgeted full time. You guys all want to say it on your question?
Siren.
Motion. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, I'm lost. It's a good thing.
kind of heard the weirdness of the siren. It's not like the regular siren, but. Yeah, okay. I move to approve the Public Works Department advertising to hire the open traffic control technician position.
Second.
So moved and seconded to approve Public Works Department advertising to hire the open traffic control technician position. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All 3 sign, please. Thanks, John. Next commissioner, you have Catherine Hensler and 5. Thanks, sir. Appreciate it. See you down there. What time are you getting down there?
We're leaving this afternoon.
Gotcha. Sounds good. Drive careful.
Oh, thank you.
We're going to Wednesday, early morning.
Yep. Be good. Get some stuff done before you head out. Not miss so much. There.
Oh. So we got till
10:55.
10:55.
Morning, David.
Good morning.
It is.
Okay, Christmas. That's my always. Oh, there you go.
In order, 1 for each one. I'll be able to call this through the answer. Okay.
Oh, that's never a good sign.
Yeah, it is. It's 1 for each of the performance reviews.
Gotcha. Okay, thanks.
You bet.
Nothing new anyway.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yes.
Okay, Catherine. Good morning, Commissioners. Catherine Hensler, Museum Director. I'm coming to you today to request permission to open up a position at the museum. It's actually for two positions under the same title. This is for the as-needed museum assistant. Currently, there are 5 of these positions which have been budgeted for, and I really shouldn't have said anything at our last meeting. I said, we have not had any turnover because I've messed with my luck. We've recently had 2 resignations.
So the good news is that these resignations come from one staff person who is just ready to retire and decided now is the time. And then another who is pursuing more opportunities in the museum world outside of our museum. So they're both off to bigger, better things, but that does leave us with 2 vacancies right around the holidays. So this position is the same position as far as description that we came to you over the summer with. These are part-time positions. They are limited to 1,000 hours a year. They are all budgeted for in our 2023 and 2024 budget proposal. And so we are just requesting that we are able to open those positions up to accept applications, recruit and interview. There shouldn't be any fiscal impact. Like I mentioned, these are both budgeted for. They are set at 15 hours a week or an hour. And we generally require this position to work between 12 and 16 hours a week. We are not requesting that there's any change to those requests based upon the hourly rate and the number of hours that we requested as staff members. And of course, today, my recommendation would be to ask for permission then to fill those positions. Any questions? Thank you.
They have 3 of the 5 still.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Just you say 1,000 annuals, that's for all 5?
That is per position.
Per position.
Anything else?
Okay, we'll go ahead and move to approve the 2 positions as needed, museum assistants in the Riley County Historical Museum. Second.
So moved and seconded to approve the request to open the 2 as needed museum assistants in the Raleigh County Museum. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All 3, please sign. Next, commissioners, you have executive session with David Adams at 11 o'clock. Yep. Ready, commissioners?
Yes.
I was. Okay. I will move that the county commission, including Chairwoman Boki, Vice Chairman Ford, and Commissioner McKinley with Elizabeth Ward, Human Resource Director, recess into executive session on a performance matter of non-elected personnel an exception to the Kansas Open Meetings Act for the purpose of a department head evaluation of David Adams, EMS ambulance director, and to protect the privacy of the employee, the open meeting to resume in the county commission chamber at 11:20 a.m.
Second.
So moved and seconded to, for the Board of County Commissioners to recess into executive session until 11:20 a.m. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Microphones are on.
I'll move that the Board of County Commissioners come out of executive session. Second.
Been moved and seconded, the Board of County Commissioners come out of executive session. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'll also move that the record reflect no binding action was taken during the executive session. Second.
Been moved and seconded that no binding action was taken during the executive session. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Commissioners. Thank you. We'll move that the county commission, including Chairwoman Folke, Vice Chairman Ford, and Commissioner McKinley, with Elizabeth Ward, Human Resource Director, recess into executive session on a performance matter of non-elected personnel, an exception to the Kansas Open Meetings Act, for the purpose of a department head evaluation of Anna Burson, Riley County appraiser, and to protect the privacy of the employee. The open meeting to resume in the county commission chamber at 11:40 a.m. Second.
So moved and seconded to recess into executive session until 11:40 a.m. That's kind of,
All those in
that's not
favor?
20 minutes. That's only 15 minutes.
22. No, 22.
We need 20 minutes at least.
Should have 45 then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, or later?
45.
Okay.
I'm amended as stated to 11:45.
Still need to vote.
We don't need to vote.
We do need to vote.
Okay.
Ask for a vote.
Oh, let's have a vote on extending the session till 11:45.
Aye.
Aye.
on, microphone are on.
With the Board of County Commissioners can have executive session.
Second.
So moved and seconded that the Board of County Commissioners come out of executive session. All in favor? Aye.
I will also move that the record reflect no binding action was taken during the executive session.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the record should reflect that no binding action was taken during the executive session. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I will move that the county commission, including Chairwoman BOCC, Vice Chairman Ford, and Commissioner McKinley, with Elizabeth Ward, Human Resource Director, Resource recess into executive session on performance matter of non-elected personnel, an exception to the Kansas Open Meetings Act for the purpose of department head evaluation of Michael Bowler, noxious weed, and hazardous household waste director, and to protect the privacy of the employee. The open meeting to resume in the county commission chamber at 12:05 p.m.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn for the Board of County Commissioners to adjourn into our recess into executive session until 12:05 p.m. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And we're back live.
Okay. I will move that the Board of County Commissioners come out of executive session. Okay.
Then moved and seconded that the Board of County Commissioners come out of the executive session. All in favor?
Aye. Also move that the record reflect no binding action was taken during the executive session. Second.
Then moved and seconded that the record should reflect that no binding decision was made during the executive session or action. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Get them put this back.
Well, is there anything else?
I don't have. It's AAC for the next couple of days.
That is.
It's like so extended agenda of events. It'll be the 3rd through the 5th next year, same location too, just so you're planning.
Oh, really?
December again?
Yeah, probably when the only time they can get to convention
I don't like it in December.
convention center.
It's too close to Christmas.
I like it way better.
I kind of, we'll see how it goes, and I'm kind of liking it a little better too. October, so
So much better for work scheduled elections and tax roll and taxes.
Do we have a motion to adjourn?
yeah. Well, I make a motion, we adjourn the December 4th meeting of the Riley County Commission.
Second.
So moved and seconded to adjourn the meeting